Hello dear aspirants, I am your educator Pratiksha Chauhan on Arpita Sharma classes, the platform where you get quality lectures for your UPSC CSE preparation. We are going to cover important topics for public administration. Before we start, here is a small announcement for you. New UPSC CSE GS batches for UPSC CSE aspirants starting from 10th March 2021. Get your subscription now and get 10% instant discount by using code ARPITA10. Get set to crack UPSC CSE prelims 2021 in 4 months bilingual. Get set to crack UPSC CSE prelims 2021 in 4 months Hindi. Get set to crack UPSC CSE prelims 2021 in 4 months English. Ultimate UPSC CSE 2022 GS batch course bilingual. Expedition UPSC CSE 2022 GS batch course English. Ultimate UPSC CSE 2023 GS batch course bilingual. Expedition UPSC CSE 2023 GS batch course English. Top Unacademy educators will cover the important concepts for UPSC CSE prelims, and these courses will be helpful for aspirants preparing for UPSC CSE exams. UPSC CSE aspirants at any stage of their preparation will be benefited from these courses. The courses will be covered in bilingual Hindi and English. Do not miss this opportunity. Enroll now. A link is in the description box below the video. Today's topic for public administration is role of president and governor. We will understand this by the few questions as we have discussed this about in the previous lectures of polity. So we will solve some means writing questions regarding role of president and governor. Let us start with the session. So let us understand this topic by solving some of the means answer writing question. First question is examine the use and misuse of the discretionary powers enjoyed by governors in comparison to discretionary powers of the President of India. यहाँ पे हमें discretionary powers जो कि enjoy की जाती हैं गवर्नर के द्वारा और यूज और मिसयूज होती हैं उनको डिस्कस करना है. As well as we will discuss here the discretionary powers of President of India. So let us understand. First is introduction. What you will write in introduction? Both governor and president are constitutional functionaries and constitution bestows upon them some discretionary power to carry out their function. However, there are some instances of misuse of such powers. So this you can be write in your answer writing. Yes, in introduction. So now comes the body part. Discretion means freedom to act according to one's own judgment. According to law lexicon, discretion means a power or right conferred upon them by law, and discretionary powers means a term which involves an alternative power, that is power to do or refrain from doing a certain thing, or power of free decision or choice within certain legal bounds. Discretionary powers of the governor means the powers of the governor which he exercises as per his own individual judgment or without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. The dictionary powers of a governor are mentioned explicitly in the constitution, while the same is not mentioned explicitly for the president. It is only understood from the provisions. So this can be your body part. Okay. Now you can write more in the body parts by differentiating the discretionary power of the president and discretionary power of the governor. In the discretionary power of the president, write suspensive veto. In the governor, apart from the discretionary powers enjoyed by the president, the governor some more discretionary powers. Governor के पास कुछ और भी discretionary powers होती हैं. Okay. अब आता है discretionary powers of the president, that is pocket veto. Now under governor, under article 163 clause 2, the power to decide whether an issue is discretionary or not is itself a discretion of the governor. Right to seek information from the PM under article 78. This is discretionary powers of the president. Now discretionary power of the president is right to warn or encourage the council of ministers in the exercise of his power. Now the governor under article 166 clause 3, the governor's discretion in making the rules for the more convenient transactions of a state government in the areas of his discretion. Now comes the president, summon the session of the parliament in his discretion after more than 6 months lapse under Article 85. Now the governor, president rule under Article 356 to reserve any bill for the consideration of the president under Article 200. Now the powers of the president, inviting the leader when no political party or coalition of party enjoy the majority. Now the power of the governor, sending the fortnightly report to the center. Under Article 371, governor of some states have special responsibility. Now the instances of misuse of discretionary powers by president. Some of the examples that where the discretionary power of president which were misused. First is Shankar Dayal Sharma invited Chandrasekhar without majority support. Second is Gyani Jail Singh used pocket veto for postal savings bills. Now comes the instances of misuse of discretionary powers by governor. Bhuta Singh, who invited a person to form government who was not even a member of legislative assembly. So these are some of the powers we are discussing by governor. Okay. Kamla Benial, who impatiently appointed Lokpal even when the consultation was ongoing. H.R. Bharadwaj, who tried to dislodge Chief Minister of Karnataka. Fourth is Governor of Arunachal, who summoned the assembly session without consultation of Chief Minister. Governor has more discretion than President, primarily because of his dual role of head of a state and representative of center in the state. He is given higher discretionary powers for proper functioning of the constitution. Now comes the conclusion, the way forward. In the end, among us various incidences of overlapping or similar discretion, governor has more discretion in exercise of his powers than president. मतलब गवर्नर के पास ज़्यादा discretionary powers होती हैं than president. Instances of misuse of these powers are observed more with respect to governor than the president because of the same reason. So this is the first question answer. You can write in this type of. So please write in your answer, your views also in this questions. Okay. Now comes the second question. Although the President of India enjoys formal power, but the office election have been far from neutral. In the light of the statement, analyze why elections have become significant and whether they have affected the stature of the office. Write in 250 words. Here the introduction, you can write Article 50 to 78 in part 5 of the constitution deals with union executive. The president is the head of the Indian state. He is the first citizen of India and acts as the symbol of unity, integrity and solidarity of the nation. The constitution of India has provided for a parliamentary form of government. Consequently, the president has been made only a nominal executive, the real executive being the council of ministers headed by the prime minister. So you can write this in introduction. Okay. Now comes the body part. Though President of India is a nominal head, he has, along with some situational discretion, plays a very important role in upholding constitutional rule. Article 53 says, indoor the executive power of the union shall be vested in President and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate him in accordance with the constitution. So you can start with this in a body part. Okay. Now we will discuss the body part, the electoral college of the president, that who takes part in the election of the president. First is the elected members of both the houses of the parliament. Second is the elected members of the legislative assembly of the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Third is the elected members of the legislative assembly of the state. Now you can write in points. He is directly elected by the proportional representation. He is symbolic figure. He is considered as the head of the state. However, despite these facts, his elections were not always apolitical. Right from the nomination of the candidate to counter nominations, views about his suitability to consensus building, elections of many previous presidential candidates such as V.V. Giri, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, K.R. Narayan, A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, Pratibha Patil, R.N. Kovind, etc. was controversial. तो इन सब के कुछ controversial थे elections. At the same time, these candidates were also not a political. Even at times, caste factors, regional factors also plays an important role. Okay, now comes the conclusion, the way forward. However, despite numerous controversies surrounding his election, appointments after election generally saw a political functioning by the president. So this is all about the question number 2. You can write in your answer by this figures, and by like in box you can write it. That is more impressive for the examiner to check your answer, and you can gain more marks. Now comes the question number 3. Explain the pardoning powers of the president. How is it different from the governor's pardoning power? Write in 250 words. Introduction. Pardoning is an act of kindness that reduces the punishment conferred under the law for the offense and restores the rights and privileges lost on account of the offense. Indian Constitution under Article 72 empowers the President to grant pardons, and Article 161 grants powers to the Governor to pardon the sentence except in few cases. It can be granted to individuals who have been convinced or convicted of any offense against a law or sentenced by a court martial, that is military court, and for sentence of death. The object of pardoning power is to correct possible judicial errors, for no human system or judicial administration can be free from imperfections. Now comes the body part. Now we will discuss the pardoning power of a president. The pardoning power of the president includes the following. You can write in points. The pardon means completely absolving the person of the crime and letting him go free. The pardoned criminal will be like a normal citizen. Now comes the commutation, means changing the type of punishment given to the guilty into a less harsh one. For example, a death penalty commuted to a life sentence. Next is reprieve, means a delay allowed in the execution of a sentence, usually a death sentence, for a guilty person to allow him some time to apply for presidential pardon or some other legal remedy to prove his innocence or successful rehabilitation. Next is respite, means reducing the quantum or degree of the punishment to a criminal in a view of some special circumstances like pregnancy, mental condition, etc. Next is remission, means changing the quantum of the punishment without changing its nature. For example, reducing 20-year rigorous imprisonment to 10 years. Okay. Now we will discuss the difference between pardoning powers of president and governor. The scope of the pardoning power of the president under Article 72 is wider than the pardoning power of the government under Article 161. The power differs in the following two ways. First is court martial. The power of the president to grant pardon extends in cases where the punishment or sentence is by a court martial, but Article 161 does not provide any such power to the governor. Second is death sentence. The president can grant pardon in all cases where the sentence given is sentence of death, but pardoning power of governor does not extend to death sentence cases. Even if a state law prescribes the death sentence, the power to grant pardon lies with the president and not the governor. As we have already discussed all this in the previous lecture, so I'm not explaining that much. So I'm more focusing on the answer writing here. So you can see my previous lecture on this. Okay. But here you focus on the answer writing, that how you should present your answer. Now comes the Supreme Court guidelines on pardoning power. अब Supreme Court की कुछ guidelines है pardoning power पर. Supreme Court cases have laid down various norms regarding pardoning power of president as below. Mandatory central government advice in Maru Ram versus Union of India. The constitutional bench of Supreme Court held that the power under Article 72 is to be exercised on the advice of the central government and not by the president on his own, and that the advice of the government binds the head of the republic. Second is no reason required. The Supreme Court in Rangabella case observed that the term pardon itself signifies that it is entirely a dictionary remedy and a grant or rejection of need, not to be reasoned, not a matter of right. Supreme Court in Kehar Singh versus Union of India held that the grant of pardon by the president is an act of grace and therefore cannot be claimed as a matter of right. The power exercised by the president being exclusively of administrative nature and is not justiciable. Limited judicial review. Pardoning powers under Article 72 and 161 is a subject to judicial review. In Ipru Sudhakar versus Government of Andhra Pradesh, the Supreme Court held that it is a well set principle that a limited judicial review of exercise of clemency power is available to the Supreme Court and High Courts. Granting of clemency by the President or government can be challenged on the following grounds. First is the order has been passed without application of mind. The order is malified. The order has been passed on wholly irrelevant considerations. Relevant material has been kept out of consideration. The order is arbitrary. Now comes the conclusion, the way forward. The pardoning power is founded on consideration of public good and is to be exercised on the ground of public welfare. Pardon may substantially help in saving an innocent person from being punished due to miscarriage of justice, or in cases of doubtful conviction, the hope of being pardoned itself serves as an incentive for the convict to behave himself in the prison institution and thus helps considerably in solving the issue of prison discipline. Now there's one question for you also to write it. Means answer writing. That question is, although in India, governor of the state is constitutional head like president, he may have more rights. Do you agree? Give reasons. Write in 250 words. I am giving you a structure of the answer. Here the introduction, and you can write define the constitutional position of the president and the governor. In body you can write explain with suitable examples in what way governor of the state has more rights at times compared to the president. Justify your stand with recent example. The question is straightforward and there is not much to deliberate. Now you can give in conclusion. Conclude with importance of the post and its relevance in the Indian constitutional setup. So you can write in this structure. Okay. Please write this question. It will be very helpful for you. Okay. And please see the previous lecture on polity, which is based on president and governor. There are two lectures, that is union executive and state executive. I have already explained these both, president and governor. So please follow up that lecture and that will be very helpful in you in writing this question also. Okay, and which questions I have discussed previously also, please write in your own words. It will be very helpful and that makes your answer more presentable, and as well as that will make you that how to write the facts and figures in your answers. So hope you like the lecture. Thank you.